What's happening, everybody? Justin, Bridgewater's Finest on YouTube, Blockbuster_guy on Twitter. Halloween has come and gone. It's election day down in the States today. So today I am electing to do week 10 of my weekly NFL pick show for the 2012-2013 NFL season. Week 9 was an awfully bad week for ankles. The number of ankle injuries that happened in the NFL this week is kind of silly, and it's high-profile players, too. We're talking about Run DMC. Darren McFadden's got a high ankle sprain. His backup, Mike Goodson, has a high ankle sprain. Percy Harvin doesn't have a high ankle sprain, but he sprained his ankle in 3 different places. I didn't think that was possible. Like, that's a gnarly-sounding injury. You can only imagine how much that hurts. And Antonio Brown has what's being described as a mild high ankle sprain. For whatever reason, week 9 just seemed to be the week where some high-profile teams ended up with some of their star players getting picked off by ankle injuries. I can tell you the injuries to Harvin and Run DMC really hurt a couple of my fantasy teams last week, and it's going to be coming up for this week, as both Harvin and Run DMC are probably not going to play in week 10, so that's going to be kind of interesting for my teams, but we'll see where that goes. But we got some quarterbacks that's under some controversy here, and I mean, that happens every year. There's changes at quarterback, and there's quarterbacks that are on the proverbial hot seat. Cam Newton kind of making a better case to sort of save his starting job, even though I don't even know who the backup is. Newton went out, beat Washington this week, which, you know, most teams are beating Washington because they can't seem to stop anybody. But Newton looked like an actual NFL quarterback for the first time in a month last week. They're 4th place in their division. We're not even going to talk about their chances of winning the division because, of course, they're in the division with Atlanta, and Atlanta can basically cruise from here on out and win that division. But they're 3 games back of a wild card spot as it sits right now. It might take 10-6 to get a wild card. So, you know, they're in rough shape, so if they're going to turn it around, they basically have to do it this week and have to ride momentum all the way. Michael Vick, of course, is the one that everybody's talking about. Philly losing to New Orleans on Monday Night Football relatively convincingly. Tied for 2nd place in their division, the NFC East. They're 2.5 games back of leading that division, and they're a game and a half back of the wild card. With the talent that's on this team should not be 3-5. So, you know, Vic could, I know everyone and their mother in Philadelphia came out this week and was like, oh yeah, no, I was never thinking of benching Michael Vick. This team needs to make the playoffs. Unless the Giants really falter, the Giants should win that division. They're going to have to do something. They're really going to have to start turning it around. Christian Ponder in Minnesota. Minnesota, of course, losing to Seattle this week. Minnesota's sitting at 5-4, so they are still above 500. They're in 3rd place in their division, but they're 2.5 games out of their division, which is the NFC North. But right now they sit in sort of a tiebreaker situation for a wild card. But this is another one of these teams that I thought would kind of take the next step up this year. Nobody can complain about what Adrian Peterson is doing. I don't think anybody can complain about what Percy Harvin's doing aside from his triple ankle sprain. But Christian Ponder has just not performed this year. He's had 3 consecutive games now where he's underperformed, and it's turned Minnesota into a very one-note offensive team. And now almost everyone in Minnesota is screaming for Joe Webb, which seems to happen on a seasonally basis. And I'm going to toss another one out there, Andy Dalton. It's not like I think Andy Dalton is having a bad season. They lost last week to Denver. They sit at 3-5 right now, 3rd in their division. They're 3 games back in the AFC North and 2 full games back of a wild card. This was a playoff team last year. But if Dalton can't sort of take this team and shove them forward, put them on his back and sort of carry them, might not be too long before you start seeing some rumblings sort of come up through the Cincinnati fan base that, like, Dalton shouldn't be our quarterback anymore. I'm going to pose the question to you. Which of those 4 quarterbacks do you think is going to lose their starting job first? Now, let's look at how my platinum, gold, silver, and bronze picks did in week number 9. My platinum pick, we'll start up there. I had the Houston Texans to defeat the Buffalo Bills. Obviously, Houston went out and did that. One of the most complete teams in the NFL. Houston 21, Buffalo 9. My gold pick had the Chicago Bears to defeat the Tennessee Titans. And did they ever? Tennessee kind of looked okay a little bit for a little bit of the game. And then Chicago's defense just shoved them out of the way. I think 14 points from Chicago's defense / special teams. And Chicago, of course, ended up rolling 51-20 to beat the Tennessee Titans. My silver pick had the Denver Broncos to beat the Cincinnati Bengals. As we mentioned before, Denver did that. 31-23, they beat Cincinnati. And my bronze pick had the Seattle Seahawks playing at home to beat the Minnesota Vikings. Seattle did that, of course, as we've said a ton about Seattle playing at home. 30-20, Seattle wins that game. Platinum, gold, silver, and bronze, 4-0 again, 28-8 for my lock picks on the season. Let's take a look at the public and private pick'ems and how the rest of my picks did in week number 9. Week number 9, I had another stellar week, my third straight really good week with my picks. 12-2. Right and wrong is going to be right there for you. On the season, 78-54. Sitting now in the 70th percentile on Yahoo. I've shot up over 30 percentage points in those 3 weeks. Moving to the private pick'em, I remain in third place out of 10 with 654 out of 1,039 possible confidence points, a clip of about 63%. In week 9, I raked in 99 of 105 possible confidence points for a clip of 94% on the confidence points. Another just awesome week, and I was so happy with it. Shout out to our week 9 winner. This guy, week 9, belongs to Bridgewater's Finest. As I mentioned, 12-2, 99 of 105 confidence points. There was a chance if Philadelphia would have won the Monday Nighter, Tom Mullins would have tied me. Damn you, Mullins. You would have tied me for the best week this week at 96 points, I believe. And didn't end up happening. Tom Mullins still leads the pack. 81-51 on the season is Tom. 691 of 1,039 possible confidence points for a clip of 67%. I am only 10 points behind second place in this league, and once I take second place, oh, Tom, you're mine. Now let's take a look at my platinum, gold, silver, and bronze picks for week 10 in the NFL. Start at the bottom with the bronze pick. I have the Philadelphia Eagles playing at home against the Dallas Cowboys. This was not the game that I originally had in the bronze position for this week. I actually bumped it way up on my list simply because I wanted to talk about this game and I wanted to talk about the importance of this game for both teams. Philadelphia and Dallas sit tied in their division at 3-5. Behind, of course, the New York Giants. This game is so important because the loser of this game hits 6 losses. Once a team hits 6 losses, if this team has any aspirations whatsoever to make a wild card spot, or even, God forbid, win the division, you really need to hit double digits in wins. So for one of these teams, when you hit 6 losses, you're probably going to have to win out. Yes, I know the Giants got a wild card spot last year at 9-7 and went all the way to win the Super Bowl. I'm not saying it's impossible, but what I am saying is once you hit that 6th loss, you need to win out in order to hit double digits in wins, and that's really the money spot. Philadelphia overall offensively looked terrible aside from LaShawn McCoy and one big play to Deshaun Jackson. They just did not look good. Defensively, they didn't look too bad. They got some pressure on Drew Brees and they caused some turnovers. You turn around and you look at Dallas. This team needs to get it figured out. Your offense, your defense, and your special teams. Now, we didn't see a ridiculously stupid Des Bryant fumble. And we see that, Jason Witten seems to be starting to turn it on. Miles Austin has been a very calming and consistent force for the Cowboys. They might be starting to get Kevin Ogletree kind of going again. Dallas's biggest issue on offense is that run game, and I know they're hurting without DeMarco Murray. I know they're hurting so bad. Felix Jones cannot carry this team. Dallas has more of their weapons sort of going in the right direction than does Philly. Deshaun Jackson's touchdown reception in the Monday Nighter was only his second. It's not a knock on Deshaun Jackson individually. It's not a knock on Michael Vick individually. It's a microcosm of that whole team. You have two offenses that have the ability to hit big plays. Philly has got a much, much, much better running game with both Vick and LaShawn McCoy, who finally sort of got it going last week. Dallas doesn't have that run option, but in the short pass game, which can be, as New Orleans shows us with Darren Sproles, as effective, if not maybe even a little bit more so, than the run game, they have Jason Witten, and they have Kevin Ogletree, and they have possession-type guys. Given that offensively these teams can look very, very similar, once again, it comes down to the defenses. Which defenses can make the best plays? The pass rush, they're about the same. Philly's got a great pass rush. Dallas has a great pass rush. This comes down to the offensive line. Philly's offensive line sucks. They have a lot of injuries. They're missing Pro Bowl caliber guys on their offensive line. They can't stop cold butter. They can't stop anything. I'm taking Dallas in this game, even though Philly is playing at home. Dallas in this game. Dallas is going to be the one that sort of keeps their head above water as far as getting to that double-digit win plateau. Dallas wins for my bronze pick. My silver pick, the Baltimore Ravens taking on the Oakland Raiders. Baltimore, again, there were a lot of questions, that I had a lot of questions about Baltimore's defense after the losses of Ladarius Webb and Ray Lewis. Didn't look too good against Houston, but then Baltimore comes back and beats Cleveland last week. And there were actually a lot of people that seemed to be high on Cleveland, thinking that Trent Richardson was going to be able to run all over Baltimore. Now, I think Trent Richardson had a decent game. Baltimore's looking like maybe they might be okay. And they're playing at home. And we know I've sung Baltimore's praises playing at home all season because they're a phenomenal home team. And they look at the team on the other side of the ball. Oakland is another phenomenal home team. Unfortunately, they're not going to have the home field advantage here, and they're not going to have their top two starting running backs. Looks like both of them are going to miss this week with those high ankle sprains. I can't see Oakland beating Baltimore. Not if they were playing in Oakland, yeah. I could even see it. Even without Run DMC and without Goodson, I could see it. They're not. They're playing in Baltimore. Take the Ravens and bet the farm on it. Ravens at home to beat Oakland for my silver pick. My gold pick, the Pittsburgh Steelers playing at home against the Kansas City Chiefs. And I'm picking on the Kansas City Chiefs here because pretty well everybody that plays Kansas City is getting a high amount of confidence going in there to play KC. KC is just playing garbage. I'm sorry. They're just, defensively they're garbage. Behind center, they seem to be garbage. Offensive line seems to be garbage. Jamal Charles is doing his thing, and Jamal Charles is good. Pittsburgh, I've been sleeping on Pittsburgh, it seems. Maybe a little bit less so than other people, but like no one's talking about Pittsburgh. I said it in my Pro Bowl thing. Nobody's talking about Ben Roethlisberger, despite the fact that Roethlisberger is having a great season. Pittsburgh's likely going to be without Mike Wallace. I don't think that's going to make a huge difference here. I think their makeshift running back core is going to be enough to sort of run all over Kansas City. I can't see any situation here where KC wins this game. Pittsburgh at home to beat KC for my gold pick. And finally, the platinum pick, the New England Patriots taking on the Buffalo Bills. I remember a couple of weeks ago, everybody was like, oh, New England suffering. New England's going to lose to Buffalo. And I think they put up like 45 or 50 points on them. I see that happening again, especially since they're playing in New England. Buffalo can't stop anybody. New England, too many weapons, too fast, too strong. Patriots all the way. Patriots to beat the Buffalo Bills at home for my platinum pick. Now, before I quick run out of here to go get my haircut, here's the rest of my Week 10 picks. Check them, but don't wreck them. That's the Week 10 show for you folks. Comments, hate, and love in the comments section below. I hope everybody is looking forward to the results of the election tonight. I'd like to say go Obama, even though I'm Canadian. But, you know, everything that you guys do politically resonates with Canada in a big bad way. Again, I'm so happy that everybody comes by and watches my videos every week. Last week's show, the Week 9 show, was my most successful one since early in the season, over 250 views. So thank you guys so much. That's it for me. Justin, Bridgewater's Finest on YouTube, Blockbuster_guy on Twitter, Obama 2012.